Some of my best memories in live radio include a station van, tipsy listeners, and a tipsier DJ. Hey there, I am Jeff, the far too sober radio DJ dude, and today we are talking live remotes and how to use Radio DJ to pull them off automatically. Now I realize this isn't going to float everyone's dinghy, but fret not, I do have some tips rolled up my virtual jean jacket sleeves for how to use these techniques in different situations. So, whether you are doing a live hit from here, on location, at the exciting Ugliest Backyard competition, or even from this random location, I mean, what could possibly be going on here? Well, it doesn't matter. Wherever you're thinking about going live from, doing a live remote, you want to call in some live segments, I have got 3 cool tips you could use Radio DJ to pull off your live remote. You ready? Let's go.
We are on the air.
So right off the top, let's make sure we're all speaking the same language. When I say live remote, I'm talking about the remotes that I used to do back in the day, where you roll out in the station van to a location, you do maybe 1, 2, sometimes 3 hits an hour. Now, I'm not talking about streaming your entire show from one location. Granted, you can do that. That just takes a power source and reliable broadband. And one other thing, this tutorial really is focused on the solo broadcaster. You're wearing all the hats. You don't have a big team back at the station to patch you in live on the air. No, it's all you. And another assumption is your station is running off-site somewhere, either by rotation or on playlists. Okay, with that said, let's dive into 3 methods to pull off live remotes using Radio DJ. 1 is the mobile broadcast setup. 2, using Skype to do live reports. And 3, there's the live to tape method. Number 1, there's the mobile broadcasting setup that requires a laptop, possibly a mixer, microphones, but most important, you need a power supply. How are you powering all this stuff? And broadband. You need a reliable internet connection to push that much content down the stream. And either that's provided by the location or you have to rent that from an IT company. And in the past, that was expensive. And don't think you can get by creating a hotspot on your phone. No, that's definitely not enough bandwidth, nor is it reliable. So for the next 2 tips, and if you choose to use your mobile broadcasting setup just for station control, you're going to need a piece of screen sharing software. And my favorite is TeamViewer. It's free, it's robust, it just works. You definitely want to grab TeamViewer and get it configured and test it out before you even leave the station. Number 2, use Skype to go live. I think this is a simple and solid approach if you really have a hankering to do live breaks. So let's break this up into 2 sections. 1, how you'll set up your station computer, and then 2, your mobile setup, which is probably your phone or a tablet. First up, your station PC. You got to get Skype fine-tuned to hum along properly. So jump into settings, and there's 4 menus that you need to make changes to. First, over in general, I like to set it up so launch Skype in the background on close, keep Skype running. And then you jump down to audio video. This is oh so crucial. I'm never going to do that again. It's horrible. Okay, so speakers. This is key. You get this right. This is how you're sending your sound from Skype to your virtual mixer, which then pushes it to Radio DJ. So for me, I have this set up to come in to voice meter aux input, VB audio virtual cable. This will be different for you, but you just got to figure out which input you're pushing the Skype audio to. Microphone doesn't matter as much because we're really not sending audio down the line. Calling all broadcasters. Jump to advanced and tick answer incoming calls automatically, because if you're out in the field and no one's back in master control in your corner of your bedroom, you want to make sure Skype picks it up when you call in. Notifications, I like to turn all these babies off because you don't want those nasty chimes and chirps and burps hitting your airwaves. That is that. Skype is patiently awaiting your call now. And now we spring over to the virtual audio mixer. For me, like so many other faithful Radio DJ users, Voice Meter Banana, incredible piece of free software. So powerful for any price, but its current price is pretty attractive. Okay, you see these levels dancing around? That's my microphone I'm yapping into. Pop one over. This is how I am routing Skype into Voicemeeter Banana using a cable output VB audio virtual cable, which we just saw on Skype. But if you leave your mixer settings like this, you ain't going to get no audio. You're going to get a Voicemeeter Banana up your tailpipe, and you're not going to get any audio on the air. You got to now enable this channel to send the audio. For me, B1 sends to my audio encoder. B2 is the input that RadioDJ picks up. So once you enable B2, you're ready for any Skype audio. And if you don't believe me, how dare you? Let's send some test audio through here. Those iconic dulcet tones of Skype's test audio. Here it is. So you do see audio being pushed through this channel. And then if we enable B2, now it's being sent to RadioDJ. Okay, quit your dancing. We've got a tutorial to get to. And we can't forget about configuring RadioDJ. You got to make sure your audio input settings are right. This is taking a signal from Voicemeeter aux input, VB audio Voicemeeter aux. So let's do this. Let's click the input button on RadioDJ and then fire off Skype's beautiful music. Okay, so input right now, we don't see any levels because we're not sending any sound. Sound is coming through. Sound is coming through up here, rocking and rolling. So you got to get your radio house in order before you even leave your house. Now let's hop over to your phone. Download the Skype app if you don't have it already. You'll also need TeamViewer, like we mentioned earlier, or one of your favorite screen sharing apps. You need to be able to connect to your radio station's computer to be able to control it from wherever you are. A couple tips before we actually do a live break with Skype. If you're trying to do all this on your phone, consider using earbuds with a decent microphone because that'll allow you to keep your phone in your hand operating the touchscreen and not have to hold the microphone of the phone right up to your mouth. And something else that would make your life so much easier is incorporating a tablet or iPad into the mix. So you can run TeamViewer off your tablet after you first set up a hotspot with your phone, so your tablet has connectivity. It's just a much bigger screen and it'll make your workflow that much easier. And a power tip, if you want any of this to work, and this may vary with different screen sharing software, but with TeamViewer I've found you have to place your Skype call before you initiate your TeamViewer session, your screen sharing session. Because if you do it the other way, if you first launch TeamViewer, then do the Skype call, TeamViewer session will cut off and end automatically. Okay, from my phone, I'm dialing in the station. And because of our Skype settings back at the radio station, it automatically answers the call, as you can see here. So I'm connected now to the station. Now we launch TeamViewer so I could take control of RadioDJ. Okay, I'm in control now. Oh, it's never felt so good. So when you're ready to go on the air, you want to make sure you switch off automated and you go into assisted mode. Because if you're running a rotation or a playlist, you don't want it to auto advance to the next song. You need to have it stop after this song, fades out and gives you a chance to go live. Do your thing. So when you're ready, you click input and now you're live. This is Triple X80s and yes, we are rocking this town from the annual ugliest backyard competition. I'm Jammin' Jeff Scott. We are here till 3 p.m. Yes, we've got free corn dogs for you and barf bags. So you definitely want to come down. We're at the corner of First and Maple. So you do your break, and when you're done, you manually hit the next element in your playlist. So you fire off the song, then you make sure to turn off the input channel. Now, trying to push all those buttons on a small phone screen freaks you out. Well, I have a much easier way to do this. Create 2 manual events. One, which is start live break. Watch what happens when I press this. Okay, it changes from automated to assisted, and it turns on the input channel. Much easier to wrangle on a small screen in the field. So if we look at it, start live break, manual event, basically 2 actions. Assisted enable and unmute input. Okay? So that's how we start the live break. Now let's build an event to end the live break. And I just put the A in the event name because it will load it to the top of the list, which makes it much easier to find. It's a manual, 2 actions. We want to disable assisted as the first action, and then mute the input. It turns off the mic channel, basically, or the Skype channel. Okay, that's it. Let's reload our events down here, and you could see we have start live break and end live break. And let's test these out. Okay, I'm ready to go on the air. Let's say Donna Summer is fading. I have 20 seconds left. I start the live break, which turns it to assisted mode. And now the mic is hot. So we just sit here and we wait until Donna Summer runs out. But by doing that, it stops the playlist from advancing after Donna Summer and lets me do my live break. And it waits. Okay, that's pretty cool. Then when I'm done talking, I just hit the end live break manual event. Ooh, that's an unexpected benefit. You see what happened there? When I hit the end live break, not only did it turn back to automated and turn off the mic input, but it fired the next item in the playlist, which once again is a time saver and a fumble saver if you trying to work a small screen to find, the trigger button. That's very cool. So to make this even easier for you to access out in the field, let's rename these events to 01 start live break and then 02 for end live break. So when you refresh your events, bing bang right there. Easy for your fat fingers to find and press no matter which field you're in. And boom, bang. Love it. Method number 3 is probably one of my most favoritos because it's just so darn easy, it's flexible, and it's total no muss, no fuss. This is the live to tape option, which is just a fancy way of saying you pre-record your bit and then you upload it to the station. Once again, there's 2 sections we got to hit. First, things that need to happen back on your station computer before you venture out into the field. Number 1, create a directory in Windows where you want to upload your files from the live remote to. Here, mine is called remotes. And also within Windows, you have to make sure the FTP capabilities are enabled. And that is far beyond the scope of this video. I've dropped some links in the description to help get you started on that. Now popping over to RadioDJ. And let me just say, this is the second time I'm recording this part of the video. The first was so damn convoluted. What you're about to see is the most ultra streamlined way to pull this off. The first version involved folder syncing and a whole bunch of nonsense. No. You want an easy button for live remotes, and I think I've got one. Here's what you do. You go to Track Manager and you import a file. And in our case, let's import 2 files. Live01.wave. It's voice track. We're going to put it in remotes. Doesn't matter the genre. Track type, variable duration file. And we want to make sure it's an overlay file. And this gives us the flexibility if we wanted to run some of these voice tracks over a music bed, which always sounds so much sexier. Details. The great thing with this, you can customize this info based on the event that you're covering. In our case, it's the ugliest backyard competition, which you'll see more about that in a little bit. And for flexibility, if we imported a second file, live02.wave, same specs, remotes, voice tracks, overlay file. Let's change the metadata. Make sure to change track type to variable duration file, and we'll import that one too. Okay, we're good to go. And here you see they've been imported. And keep in mind, you're doing this before you even leave the station. So just pick any files. The files you choose now don't matter because you're going to be uploading your files from the field and they're going to overwrite these files. These are just placeholders. So that takes care of the content. But since this is supposed to be somewhat of a hands-free, a streamlined approach for solo broadcasters, how do you get these to play from the field without having to screen share, use TeamViewer to manually trigger them? Well, there's 2 easy ways to do this, and both use rotations to schedule when these live remote voice tracks are played back. And setup is as easy as adding a track from a category and assigning it to voice tracks, remotes, using least recently played. Now be careful here because we've imported 2 files for the remote subcategory you need to make sure to upload 2 fresh files to overwrite the ones you've already imported to RadioDJ by the time the first one is supposed to play back on the air. So the easiest way is to just create one file, the live01.wave file. You import that. Then every time you upload a fresh voice track, you name it live01.wave. So you keep overwriting that file, and it could be any length. It doesn't have to be the same running time. And then RadioDJ will continue to play back this same track. Because all RadioDJ is doing is looking on the drive and the directory that you've told it to where live01.wave lives. It doesn't care the contents of the live01. It just wants to make sure it finds this file name in this folder. That's the beauty of this workflow. You're not using folder sync. You just keep overwriting files as you upload them. And then let's say you want another break to happen, towards the end of the hour. And you move that into place. One thing you have to be mindful of is making sure you upload your voice tracks in time before they run, obviously. And this becomes important with the second one, because between the first and the second in this rotation, you have about 20 minutes to upload and overwrite the next voice track that will run in the second slot. And this is just using the one file option, the live01.wave. Now, if you want a little more control over which voice track is airing when, there is another approach which involves creating an event. It's a manual event. We want to load a specific file. So we come into remotes and we say, this is 01, live 01, you see down here. Okay, perfect. That's it. That's this event. Add it. So let's create a second event. And this would be live remote 2. And we load the specific track. I just re-enabled live 02, so it should be right there. Live 02, good to go. Live remote 2, we'll add that event. Let's say you wanted 3 hits an hour. You would import a third file, live03.wave, and then you'd create a third event. Jamming back over to that rotation, and we want to now add a manual event, live remote 01. So right here, it'll load the live 01 file. Then if you want to add the second remote, voiceover, you go down to live remote 02, and you place that wherever you feel is appropriate in your hour. And now you have more control over which file is airing when. And from the field, you continue to overwrite those 2 files. Now, if you really want to get fancy and infuse some more energy and momentum into your live remote breaks, you run a music bed behind your voice track. And, it could be something as simple as just a plain music bed, or you create an event sounder. So it incorporates your station name like XXX Ladies. XXX Ladies, I wish. XXX 80s, live from the ugliest backyard competition. And then a music bed. Or a generic sounder you use for any time you're out and about. XXX 80s, community update. So one way to do that is just to add a track from a category. For me, that's music beds. And then you can have your, let's say, event beds. Add the action, and you want to make sure it's number 2, because remember, events load from the top. So this will first load the voice track, and then it will load the music bed on top of that. Let's save that. And a very important power tip. Your beds need to have the appropriate next start points, or this won't work. So right now, if I tried to run this music bed, in that scenario, it would play the bed for a minute before triggering your voice track. Big fail. So you want to make sure you move your next start cue to a place that works for you. So this bed will establish for a second and a half, and then it will trigger the voice track. Okay, let's say we want to move this next start just a little more like to that. Let's save it. I know you're dying to hear what that sounds like. We'll get to that, but first let's jump out to the field and get you set up. On the mobile side of things, where you're going to be with most likely your phone, there's really just 3 steps. 1, record your break. This is Triple X80s. Hey there, I'm Jammin' Jeff Scott on location at the exciting annual Ugliest Backyard Competition. 2, if it needs some editing, open up an audio editor app on your phone, make your cuts, and here's a tip for you. Since these are variable duration files, they're using the in cue point to trigger the next element. So cut all the fat. The beginning and the end of the file should not have a lot of fat. You see how tight these are? There's not a lot of dead space, the beginning or the end, which is great. This will keep your playback really tight. Okay, you've edited your track. You've renamed it to live01.wave, assuming it is a WAV file. And then you hop over to your FTP app on your phone or tablet, even better. You connect to your radio station computer, upload that file to the folder you created in Windows, and it's going to ask you want to overwrite the existing live01.wave file. Heck yeah, we do. Boom, you upload it, and you're done. Now you can get ready to record your next break and wash and repeat. So this has been an incredible competition. I know you're dying to hear how that manual event we created sounds. Live Remote 01, the one that loads the music bed and then plays the voice track. I think to appreciate that, you have to first hear the opposite. Just playing a dry voice track. The song fades, the voice track's triggered. Let's do that first, and then we'll load up a spunkier option. This is Triple X80s. Hey there, I'm Jammin' Jeff Scott on location at the exciting annual Ugliest Backyard Competition. And we just so happen to be in, what? My backyard? Okay, that's contender number 1. Now, back to the video already in progress. So when I hit this, it will then load everything on top. Okay, so T's bed 7, and then it'll play. Let's get rid of this top of the hour and have it go right into the song, as it would do in your rotation. Okay, take a listen. This is Triple X80s. Hey there, I'm Jammin' Jeff Scott on location at the exciting annual Ugliest Backyard Competition. And we just so happen to be in, what? My backyard? Well, I think I have it locked this year. The competition is fierce, but I think once I give you a tour around, you'll see why I deserve the gold medal. That really sounded sharp. It was pretty seamless, and the music bed makes such a difference. You heard the energy that it adds. But I come from a top 40 background. We were always hitting the gas on forward momentum, keeping that energy high. And it also depends how loud the event is. If you have a lot of crowd noise or some live music in the background, then you really don't need a music bed. That actually becomes distracting. But I can't emphasize this enough. If you are planning on running your voice tracks over a music bed or any audio element, the overlay file option has to be checked, or it'll just train wreck out and it won't work. And that's another super cool feature of doing it this way, because if you tried to pull this off with folder sync, sure, it'll bring your track into voice tracks, remotes, but it will never flag it as an overlay file because it doesn't work like that. So this would not be possible. Haha, or would it? Well, I made a video on how you can hack folder sync and run a special piece of code to import voice tracks and have RadioDJ automatically make them overlay files. And the code also lets you rewrite artist and title names too. And whoa, look up there to the right. Like magic, there it is. Give that one a look. It's pretty cool. But we're not dealing with folder sync because this is, in my opinion, the most super simple way to pull off a live remote using RadioDJ. In the background, kind of hands-free. So what if you don't do remotes? Was this a big freaking waste of your time? Well, possibly. Or consider other applications for this technology. Maybe it's not a live remote, but you do a news segment, a community update report. Or if you have remote contributors who want to send audio in and have it auto-programmed, well, this is a great template for that. So, full disclosure, I don't and probably won't do any remotes anytime soon. But when I stumbled upon this idea, I just had to share it. Because, like my rascally granny used to say, Jeffrey, sharing is caring. Just don't share too much, you big... But if you do remotes, well, do tell. Perhaps I've totally wasted your time with all this broadcasting bunk. Maybe you have a more efficient way. Well, I know one thing. The bulging Radio DJ Dude community would love to hear about it. And you know what? I'd also love to hear any ideas you might have for future videos. Just drop them right here. I'm Jeff, the Radio DJ Dude, and if your enjoyment levels hit, let's say, a minimum of 18% while watching this video, well, please hit like and subscribe. That's actually our minimum threshold. I so appreciate your time. I look forward to hanging out with you on the next video. But until that magical moment, please keep rocking those mics all over the world.